Hello, this is Cy Bryant. This poem is called If Only. If only we were strong enough, as a collective, not to view professional sports as the golden ticket, to somehow believe we are more than our physicality. We could literally create more than we have ever invented. We could absolutely lead further than we have ever managed. If only we saw the Negro League as a point of strength, not a means to an end. Although we were winning, we claimed it as a failure, as those that are unlike us didn't accept our win. And I just don't know when we will see ourselves as the victories that we are, surpassing mediocrity, elevating from slavery, yet are we free? If only we could see the beauty. Seeing females as if they are princesses and queens, seeing males as if they are princes and kings, creating a new narrative where celebrating the first to do something is in someone else's culture is no longer seen as a monumental thing, where our boundaries and breakthroughs are only self-defined, where I don't need to prove shit to no one that could care less about me, and I don't need to trumpet that I am as good as someone else. I can literally just be myself. If only we could plant new seeds, nurtured with new energy, no longer naming this new being based on old things. If slavery was such a bad thing, why do we hold on to any of it? The names, the celebrations, or even the religions that were only allowed to ensure we remained a human plow. It wasn't the relinquishing of the prison gates that granted freedom. We were simply told we weren't allowed to go. Up until that point, we mentally weren't allowed to go. And still to this day, that very minimal energy never balanced the scale, so it's surprising to me when people say they are free. If only we knew the cost of freedom. Do we give our life so that the next life will be free? Do we sacrifice our culture, creating it into an economy, so that the next generation will have less pressure to fit in? Do we call out the ignorance and beg for people to look at us different? Do we take up arms and beg for people to treat us different? Do we realize that we weren't even the root of the issue? Do we continue to ignore the issues rooted in the formation of this place? It is not anything we can do or not do. There is this ever-present belief that the revolt that will never happen against those of European descent will one day, it will happen against those of European descent. And I just have to tell you this thing. No one wants it to happen except those of European descent. If only everyone loved unconditionally. Again, this is Cy Bryant. That poem is called If Only. So it's always an interesting debate people have. I see constantly, right? I live next to a facility that hosts basketball games. I live next to facilities that host football activities year round. And I don't know how to elevate the consciousness, because for some people, playing on a professional level is a golden ticket, and it can radically change the entire trajectory of an entire generation of a family. But in a lot of cases, it doesn't. It is truly like winning the lottery. And I have also been witness to young men, especially, that have been sold the dream, and when it's time for that dream to be fulfilled, there's nothing there. There's a little bit of notoriety whenever they go back to their university and the like. But that hoop dream, that Super Bowl dream, a lot of people don't make. So then what do you do? So the painful part, and I definitely and absolutely feel I'm the problem. I think I can absolutely do more. The painful part is a lack of education from those that do have education. And I'm not talking about you graduated from this university or that college, or you have this degree or that title or acronym after your name. I'm talking about those that have education, those that are able to leverage their intelligence for something fruitful in their life and others' lives. It's how do you get back so that that golden ticket is just one of your options, so that choosing professional sports is truly an option you can choose, not a desperate thing you have to pursue, so that you can become a multimillionaire regardless of what you pursue. That talent, that ability absolutely exists. But for the life of me, we create obstacles to it. We want people to work as hard as everyone else that have to reach that multi-million-dollar level. It's almost like a club or some other, higher status or station. But for those that have really made it humbly, right? When you reach that, and what do I say make it? It's like when you start giving back relentlessly, where you donate your time, not just your money, your effort, to ensure others behind you are successful in their endeavor without any consequence to benefiting yourself, without an expectation of favor or return. So those that have made it have to do more. You don't have to wait until you're 80 in your deathbed and you're trying to write out who's going to receive the funds through your will and your last testament about everything that should happen after you're gone. You can actually start doing that now. And it's unfortunate, it's somewhere around that, I think 250 million or 500 million, where people realize there's nothing else to buy. And you realize money's in place for comfort and to buy material things. But I still haven't met someone, and please introduce me if you have, that person has been fulfilled by the extent of their bank account or their real estate holdings or any other thing. What they talk about is comfort, not having to worry about anything, not needing to do a 9 to 5. You hear all these comfort things. But that same gap that a lot of us have of being unfulfilled is what drives people to those professional sports team dreams. You absolutely want more out of this life than what you see in your current path, but there is another way, because you can be successful no matter what you do. And as opposed to only taking our children to sporting events, you should teach them, make sure they know how to read. Make sure they know how to read on different levels, not just what your educational system is telling you they should be reading at this grade level or that grade level. No. Make sure they know how to read the stock exchange. Make sure they know how to balance credits and debits, and they understand the different levels of credits you can have and the different debts you can have, and they're able to make clear decisions for themselves. So as long as you're pursuing something that someone else has, and you want that spot on that team, you want the spot on that table, you will always be desiring something. So for those that have made it, based on your own definition, spend your time now on trying to help somebody else make it. Spend that time. It could be, whether you're already in an organization that helps people, or whether you can partner with some local community system or community center. Ensure that success means that those after you have made it, you doing it by yourself, it's not too impressive. But if you can develop a process or a system that can ensure that everyone after you, without any financial, cost, any upfront costs, you don't need a $99 a month service fee and this fee and that fee. If you want to help somebody, help them. If you want to help somebody, help them. But recognize that is the true strength of whether you have made it or not. Not just that you have made it, but everyone around you have made it. Even a stranger that comes in proximity to you has made it. Show me that. And that will allow us to start changing that initial narrative of knowing what success is. And we can further get out of the narrative of being stereotyped, because it's less likely you would give a shit what anyone else thinks of you. If you have that confidence and belief in yourself that you can make it, because you have a support system that is there for you consistently and constantly, then you can further get out of the narrative that we need to hold on to the past so much because we are so reliant on someone providing for us that we're begging to be treated differently and begging to be listened to and begging and begging. I'm tired of fucking begging. We don't have to do that anymore. We have the power and ability to create our own environments, our own businesses, our own cultures, our own schools, even our own religions if necessary. But we can do it. But it requires those that, again, if you think you have made it, show me you've made it. Give back to someone that has not. Again, this is Cy Bryant. This was called If Only.